Lasting.
Here.
Chambers.
Present.
Bush.
Here.
Lindsay.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
Gunlaw. Here. Stefas.
Here.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dr. Lindsay has asked for a moment of silence for John McCain. Does anybody have any objections? Okay. Does anybody in the audience have anything they'd like to say? Anything? No? Okay. Items for information. Referendum. Oh, before we do that, we did get a thank you from the Larry Weitzel family, just so everybody knows. The referendum communications, Joelle.
Is it okay if I sit here or do you want me to move somewhere else? This is fine. I don't have anything visual to share. I attached for your viewing the list that we got from FEH, the things that they could help us with. This came right from them. I presented it to you fully for transparency purposes. However, as I was going through it, several of the items kind of jumped out at me. And I don't know if there are different rules against referendum in Iowa, which is where they do a lot of work, versus Wisconsin, but a lot of these items seem to kind of border on the advocacy, and it kind of concerned me a little bit as I read through them, because as you know, the language that I sent to you from WASB, says stay as far away from advocacy as you can. That was also then reaffirmed by Quarles and Brady, which prepared the resolutions for you today too. So anyway, I just want to say that up front. I would say that any materials that we make, we would need the sketch images of the elementary renovations that FEH designed, the one that would be the proposed, so we would need to obtain that from them. I also was thinking through this, and for the town hall meetings or like the community forums, whatever you want to call them, I think it might be a good idea to have somebody from FEH on site for those to provide an architectural or a different perspective about the actual logistics of the facility. Being a member of the Wisconsin School Public Relations Association, I have access to award-winning referendum communication plans from around the state. And I think that's a very valuable resource for us to have kind of as a template, several of them from last year. And given these resources, I feel confident that we can work with Kristen Mitchell closely to come up with communication for the referenda. And she also was the one who did our 2012. I was not a part of that, but she does have that history as well too. So I would feel confident in saying that. Many districts passed their resolutions in July for their November referenda, so they are already a month into this process. So it's important that we get going on this as soon as we can, because it's going to fly by here in the next few weeks. I have several things laid out. I don't know how detailed we would want to go into them. I don't have any visuals or anything, but I think it's really important to work with Kristen. She's familiar with our brand and our image that also our community is familiar with. I think that just sets the tone that everything looks and feels the same. It gives consistency. The first thing I would do is we would come up with fact sheets that would have key talking points. And you would be able to see those ahead of time before they go to print, just to make sure that you do agree that they are facts. They would showcase the needs, the process that we came to get to this point. So we would discuss that we had a planning committee that the community was involved in, then how they got to their proposed solution, and then the tax impact. So all of that would be laid out for the community to view. There would be pull-up banners. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but I would like to have a couple of those. You've often seen them probably at trade shows, where it's just really easy to carry around, and again, it would have those facts on there. A couple could be in the office, and then Mitch and whoever goes around town to do presentations to civic groups could then take those with them. It would be just really handy to have, so I would like a couple of those. I'm kind of looking, after talking with some experts on this, at 3 mailings 2 at the minimum. The first one ideally would hit homes the 3rd week in September. The second would come the 2nd week in October. And then the final would be just a postcard as a reminder to vote, which would be the 4th week in October. I think it would be helpful to come up with a video that shows the needs of the elementary building for those people who have not been in there in a while and can't maybe tour the building themselves. I think it's important to come up with a list of frequently asked questions that we provide answers to that we have heard, around town. Newspaper articles, outreach to community groups, and I have that list here, the Kiwanis, the Lions, those groups. A couple community forums, and then elementary building tours. Absentee ballots go out September 21st, early voting starts October 22nd, and the election is November 6th. So that is my rough plan, and it's going to be a lot of work. I will definitely keep you guys posted, but I just wanted to kind of share that at this point.
Do you have any dollar figures at all?
And they didn't put me on here, and I was I was surprised about that a little bit. The bulk of the cost is going to be the postage, as it always is for anything that we mail. But it's not like, our newsletter is a 16-page production. This would just be, I think, just a trifold. It's not going to be the cost, the printing cost won't be the same as a 16-page. So I don't want to pull that number and bring it in. It'll be a couple $1,000s, I would guess, if I had to. But don't hold me to that, because that's hard to, without having done one of these before.
You're saying a couple thousand total?
I would guess, but
For mailing, for the cost of mailing?
and the design and all of those things that go into it. But I did not ask Kristen for any dollar figures because FEH didn't provide any. So I don't have those exact figures for you.
Just be very careful that you're not trying to sell it.
Well, that would be illegal. So, it's not gonna happen.
And that it gets published in time, so we can't blame the mail on it.
That's right, and Kristen did caution us against that just because this is a heavy political mailing time. So she said that's why I really want to get going on this right now, from my point of view, because you never know what's going to end up in the mailing house that could backlog anything that's in there. So that's very important. But yeah, continue to just shoot me questions whenever you have them, and I'll keep you posted as it goes forward. But I just wanted to kind of share where I'm at right now and where I'd like to go. So.
Off this list, Joelle, are you thinking FEH, there will be a charge from FEH to us on anything here, or?
Well, a lot of this, and even in the email that Kevin sent Mitch, it said that, sometimes they do all this, sometimes they do none of it. It just depends on the strength of the district that they're working with and the staff members. So I think they're used to people kind of picking and choosing what they want to do. I'm not sure, but for the couple of things that I listed, I wouldn't think there would be a huge charge. Just to use the drawing that we used in the survey we already sent out, and then to have somebody here for the couple town hall meetings.
I received a phone call from FEH, a representative from FEH, late in the day, and I was heading out to the elementary school for the open house. And I had to follow up with them just to kind of touch base if they could put some numbers to this. Is it hey, for $5,000 we can do all of these things, or everything's $50, pick and choose what you want. I will certainly follow up on that. But I guess the idea is September 1's right around the corner, and we need to get rolling. So if there aren't any serious objections, I guess we would try to explore what we can and get facts out and use, if we use FEH or we use Kristen Mitchell or whatever, we need to get things out there and get it to the public as soon as we can.
So Joelle, would you piecemeal what you think that you can do and then get Kristen's cost? Because I'm worried about FEH's fee.
I'm worried honestly about the quality. I'll just be upfront in saying that. When the first survey came out, it did not look in my eyes professional. And I sent it to Kristen to have her redo it because the community is used to getting one thing from us that looks very.
It should be consistent.
It should be consistent, which is why I would like to use her. She's local, I would like to use her as much as we can in this process. So
I would like to see us use Kristen Mitchell and perhaps authorize a dollar limit amount and just march ahead because time is of the essence.
I was gonna say, maybe we should just put a cap on it and
Yeah.
let them go ahead. And I just wanted to be clear.
It makes me nervous just because I have no idea. So-
No, I know, but
Well,
maybe just,
don't we know what she charges per hour?
No, I don't know that.
can we just set a tentative cap, and then if you get a quote, come back to us and say that we're way off base, and we can try to justify.
Or I can actually have a conversation with her about the money and then shoot it to you via email. I'm not really sure.
I would think do that first, because otherwise we're setting her limit, you know. say
Well,
she
and
was
I
thinking
really don't know.
2,000, we say 4,000.
Sure.
I'm just thinking time-wise, do we have to then have another meeting?
I think like Joel was saying, they just shoot email or something too.
And, you know,
And the
first-
dollar amount has to be approved.
well,
Is that what, okay.
Well-
Anything above $5,000
yes.
needs board approval. Anything below $5,000 are things that just run through your normal
And each
budget request.
individual thing would not be, certainly not even in a ballpark.
So she's either gonna do it per hour or per project.
Can we agree in concept to have Kristen Mitchell design and Joelle coordinate this project?
I think that makes good sense.
With the contingency that this will be a fact-neutral, campaign, obviously.
And I would put on a limit of 4,000.
That's what I was thinking.
And then the other thing would be, any request for further funds would have to have a meeting and explanation on what,
Okay.
because that would give them a jump start, and I would think
Yeah, we do need to get going,
Does that
so
seem
funding, I would hope.
I would hope so too, but I'm not saying that to try to spend more money, certainly. I just have no idea.
Does anyone have any idea what the 2012 campaign cost?
6 years ago, Doc, why can't you remember?
And I don't ever remember hearing that
Yeah.
in a conversation at any time, so I don't know.
Yeah.
When do you want to have this out, when you say?
The person that I talked to that deals with referenda a lot says ideally you would like the first mailer to start hitting homes sometime in that third week of September. So that means I need to turn around here pretty quick and get the first one out. But that would be the first one only, so.
And then third week, when's the second one?
Looking at, what did I say, the
Second week in October. and-
second week in October with a postcard reminder to vote fourth week in October.
Okay, and then third?
The third would be the fourth week in October, just the
That'd be
postcard.
that
Okay,
reminder.
yep.
Yep.
Oh, so the second week is, there's 2 reminders, is that what you said?
No, sorry, I didn't separate it out when I spoke.
Okay,
So the third week in September ideally, second week in October, and then the fourth week in October would be just a postcard reminder.
and you would explain further, or it would be the same mailer in the second week?
No, it would be slightly different. There would be some things that would be the same.
Okay.
Is this something we can approve via email? I mean, I'm assuming we're going to want to approve whatever's sent before it's sent.
Right.
We meet.
You can't conduct business that
No.
way.
No, it's illegal.
Usually what happens
Listen,
in other districts that I talked to with the referendum consultant is that the board president would sign off on, to avoid that pitfall, the document would go to the board president, the board president would sign off on it.
Under that 5,000 mark?
No, sorry Kelly, just to see the proof
The
of what's
content.
getting
Oh,
Like
sent.
a
just to see
fact,
the
Yeah.
content.
that it's a
Okay.
fact sheet, there's no
Yeah.
selling on the
Okay.
agenda or anything of the
Okay.
I'd be
referendum.
comfortable with that if Jeff is.
If I'm not, I'll make a couple calls.
Well, we should have a meeting if you're not comfortable with it. Or,
Yeah,
if they
no,
can't
I-
revise it to your satisfaction.
I just don't know the legality of some of that, so.
Well,
Oh,
we meet
I
on the
see.
16th. Is that pushing it too close to the end of September? Joel, still get that third week.
No, by the time you design it, print it, and send it to a
What you
mailer,
brought us up.
that's it's too late, Larry, it's too late.
Well, then all you do is print them, man.
It's too late for the first mailing.
The third week of September, you're saying?
If the board does not, if waits till September 17th to approve a print design, it is too late. It would take 2 weeks. I need to have this out basically almost next week, or the week after, the first week.
To the printers. That's
the mailing,
Yeah.
yeah, because we don't know how much political mail is gonna get into the,
For
the
that
mail
part,
system.
Joelle, you should email that to everybody and everybody could take a look at it.
And
That's
as long
what
as
I
they-
was,
Oh, as long as they send
Not
an
the
email
money.
in one direction, that it would come back
Yeah, no
either to
reply all.
Joelle, yeah, you
Right.
can't reply all because that
Okay.
just with
implies a meeting.
feedback.
Yeah,
We've done that before.
yeah, if
Reply,
if
yeah.
a group email goes out and you reply either to myself or Joelle or the both of us, that's
Reply,
fine.
Yeah,
If you're
reply
just
all is
reporting
my
to us.
friend, I
Because we're
always
not
say that.
taking action.
Right, and you cannot reply to all because that construes a meeting.
And that way, we've got 7 sets of eyes looking at it instead of just mine. So, let's
Okay,
plan on doing that.
all right, I have a plan, thank you.
So we're not gonna vote on the.
Oh. If, I'll talk to Kristen tomorrow, and if that dollar figure is seriously problematic, I will let you know right away, but I
Well,
doubt
if
it.
it's over 5, we'll have to.
Right, it's not, yeah, okay. I think having a limit is a good action.
You're just exploring some things now, so I don't know that that needs a formal vote for her to check that out through Kristen and get that down.
No, I was just,
I would say not.
I'm just worried about getting the money in place so that it can move forward. I'm thinking about moving it forward.
I think we've got to make for a motion because we have 2 choices, FEH and Kristen. So I would make a motion to
Thanks,
have
Gordon.
Kristen Mitchell have the honor of doing this work. Really it is.
I think that's reasonable to
Do we have a second?
make a motion. Do we want to qualify the,
I didn't put a dollar amount because that's going to be kind of communicated to Sharon.
just assume it's under 5,000 is
Hopefully,
the assumption?
yeah.
Okay.
Could I don't know if this needs to be in the motion, but those couple of pieces that I would maybe perhaps like FEH's assistance on, the permission to use the sketch of the plans, I think we need to.
Technically,
There are.
we should own that already, should
We
we
paid
not?
for the
We
books.
paid for that.
So I can, okay, I can make
Yeah.
that ask and it's fine.
We
Okay.
paid for that.
Yeah, we should not be charged for that.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion by Dr. Lindsay, somebody want to second that?
I'll second.
Done, any more discussion?
Joe, if they got a problem with that, they can call someone, they can call.
Okay, yeah,
Mitch.
that's fine.
Okay, there's no money involved, so all those in favor?
Well, there is.
Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you.
Item number 2 is the AP exams. Larry requested this put on the agenda. So throw it to you, Larry.
What happened, look, Mitch, I'll probably look a few times before it gets straight.
So this is how the AP exams work. College Board oversees all of this stuff. And it's a lot like ACT where they tell you the date the exam is going to be given. They have to be ordered by the end of March. So Mr. Paulskill ordered first round of materials and tests before March 31st. And a student came to him and said, I just found out when the AP Calc exam is going to be. I can't take it on that date. There was a conflict. Without going into too much detail, the individual was a good athlete and there was expectation that they would be participating in some fashion in the state tournament capacity. So he needed to order a late exam for that particular test. And that was done. When they sent him a tracking number, the tracking number was in essence for the late exam for the one student. He never received a tracking number for his first batch of tests that he ordered, the AP Lit or written language, some US history, there was a Spanish AP exam, there might have been one other one. He called out there, where are my tests? We sent them, you got, well, he got the late exam, he didn't get the original order. He called back later the same week and they admitted that they sent it to the wrong school. So they never sent him a tracking number because they sent the tests to the wrong school district. When he asked if they could overnight it, A lot like the ACT exam. They send me ACT exams for February, and if we have a snow day and we don't give that exam, I have to send them all back. Even though they've never been used, never been opened, the seal's not been cracked, I have to send them all back and get new exams. So they told them, because of test security, they can't send those tests back to us. We told them, you have to order the late exams. So he ordered the late exams, and they also tell you then here's when those tests can happen. It has to happen on this Tuesday for the AP Lang, this Thursday for the AP Spanish. And then there's no credit card that's used to order the exams, because schools will order, you know, I might have 20 kids that say I'm writing the AP language test, and then 18 show up that day to take it. So they only bill us for the ones that we've used.
How many late testing fees
How many late tested?
No, yeah.
I don't have the number in front of me, but I will say that it was probably 17 students.
Okay. It's $45 per day.
Additional, yeah. And,
Just for the late one?
yes. And I would say, you know, that should have been disputed with College Board for not sending
us
us.
for that,
Yes, they billed us for that. So,
on their error.
on their
that
error.
They admitted to.
Yep,
Can we still dispute that?
I will certainly do that when I get a chance to get in my office and make some of those phone calls, but I will certainly do that.
Well, the more important question is, what kind of a disadvantage were the students in taking the test that late in the year, the last day of school?
I'm sure there was probably, well, I know at least for one particular student, there was some anxiety that I was ready to take this exam today. The flip side of this is they get 2 more weeks to prepare for that exam. Now, yeah, you get mentally prepared and you're ready to go, and
Yeah, well, the last day of school is not the day to take the AP test. So what are we going to do to prevent this in the future, Mitch? Because this is unacceptable, in my opinion.
well, and part of this issue falls on College Board for sending them to the wrong.
Is this common in other schools?
I don't know. I don't know if this has happened to other schools or not. I know that Mr. Paul Skill reached out to other school districts, like the example I shared. If you order 20 and only 18 kids take an exam, you might be able to get a couple of those exams and, you know, get students. And he called around to area schools, but nobody was offering the same exams that our students were taking. You know, all I can say is when you place an order, you know, when he places the order again this upcoming school year, is follow it up with a phone call and make sure that everything is correct, and we get a tracking number right out of the gate, so that we're not waiting for that tracking number. Let's see if we can get it given to us right away.
I mean, a way to look at this, after them students spent 13 years in this district, and their very final test they take, the school fails them in having the test directly. One of the more important tests they'll ever take in our school. Preparing for 13 years, and the very last one is...
Well, and not everyone was here for 13 years. There were students that are juniors that took some of those exams.
Primarily seniors, though.
Right, right.
Yes, absolutely. Just don't, yeah, let's get a procedure in place, a protocol, that if we don't have the test by the normal time, that there's a backup plan.
The Advantage Placement, collegeboard.org is really easy to read and to follow through with shipping and all of that. So maybe Mr. Bosco could brush up on that and have those dates, you know, clear on his calendar. And could those dates, it says exam dates, and it's really clearly defined, do those things can we publish those on our website to make sure that's clear for parents and students?
Yeah, we certainly can.
Janet does that already, I think.
Pardon?
Janet does that already, I believe. On the event calendar, she'll put them on there.
is it something that should be in our student handbook as an additional? I mean, it's really clear right here, you know, maybe there's a linker there, or maybe somehow it's gotta get communicated also so that parents and students can start asking questions too, instead of maybe waiting.
How do you find out though if the tracking number sent to the wrong school? Does somebody that find that out ahead of time?
I think that's the lesson learned here, is that if you don't have a tracking number, then there's no guarantee that they received your order, so.
And with it being such an issue this year with
I see.
somebody coming right away saying, this test is supposed to be on May 19th and I can't take it there because of the state tournament. I need to take the late exam, and the late test being ordered, when a tracking number got shipped out, you know, it was like, okay, the order is processed, it's coming. You know, so it's hard to say.
So he thought the tracking number was for everything.
Right.
Right.
When is
Yeah.
when is the earliest that you can give these tests in Mitch?
I want to say the first full week in May is usually like when the AP language exam is given. I mean, he goes into the AP Calc class, he goes into the AP language class. Some students have worked with Mr. Cool on the side to do like the AP Government or AP US History, and you know, he just checks, do you want to write this exam? We've had some students that just want the course listed and don't care about writing the exam. They just want the course listed in a transcript. But we can certainly follow up with College Board and, you know, reach out to them and say, you know, this happened to us. What kind of guarantees are we going to get in place here that this doesn't happen to us again?
How many kids usually take AP tests?
It varies from year to year. This last year was a larger number for quite some time, and we usually, you know, we'll have, if the senior class is 50 kids, I would say probably 36 are in the AP English course, and of the 36, you know, 20 will initially, at least 20 will initially say, yeah, I want to take it. And then as we get closer to the end of the school year and graduation's around the corner and I'm tired of the winter and I'm tired of being at school and I don't want to write that exam. And some will back out then, but I think it was 17 students wrote 22 exams this year. So we had some students that wrote the math and the English, and some students that did 3 exams this year.
17 out of the senior class?
Senior juniors.
Senior junior class.
Yeah.
Right. It'd be interesting to see the breakdown of that, and then the past history of how many tests were given.
I can get that out to you in an email. I can send that out to all board members if you'd like to see it. I can kind of give you a 5-year history of what we've done.
Then we'll see how important it is to take these tests on time, because I have heard that a fair number of students elected not to take the test because of the time it was given.
But the College Board sets a date, was that my understanding?
Correct.
So
They
there's
set
only
the original
no
date
alternate
and they set the makeup date. And for us, you know, I'm not arguing for us to go to school into the middle of June,
Right.
but for
He said
us,
last
it is
week,
close to
set
the end of
by
the school year
date
because,
set.
you know, the
So-
seniors are graduating Memorial Day weekend.
Was the last day of school then the makeup date? The scheduled makeup date then for the test?
Yes. Yeah, that was not, we don't get to pick and choose when we give that.
Okay.
They tell us
Yeah.
this exam has to be given on this date.
Student,
So it's more important to
test.
have given early.
Did he? So this student that was in problem, he got to finally take the test then, or the one where the tracking was sent to the wrong school?
No, the tracking for the late one was the one that they got, so he.
Yeah, the late test.
Oh, his was the only,
That was the one that was delivered, and they
Goodness
said,
gracious.
your exams were delivered, and
It's
it's
a
like,
bigger problem
nobody
than I thought.
in the office knew where these exams were that they were talking
Oh, no
about, so.
wonder. I thought, holy cow.
So he got a tracking number for that one test, and he thought it was for all the tests.
Correct.
And only
Gotcha.
one test came. So where's the other
Did for
test?
tests,
They had to
just
school,
hard copies.
and now they had to order
Yeah,
all
paper
all
copies.
these. And get charged
But it's
per
easy to
test
find
for
out.
45 bucks,
It's
you
easy to
said? Yeah.
get the
And then
transcript.
the date got moved to a late date,
Yeah,
and that's when the kid backed down.
yeah, gotcha.
For some kids, apparently.
Yeah,
No, I understand. Thank you.
No, as long as we can.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Items for action, initial resolution authorizing general obligation bonds in the amount not to exceed $11,920,000. A motion for each one of these.
yes, you will. And on page 4 of your board packet is the official language from Quarles and Brady. They shared that with us, so this makes everything legal. Your motion and vote tonight will get recorded and shared out then as we move forward.
Does somebody want to make a motion?
For each one, or individually?
Yeah.
Yeah, they need individual.
So this will be the last motions we'll have to make on these resolutions.
Correct.
I'll make a motion for it to approve the first resolution.
Okay. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
I'm just curious why we have to re-vote. Because the first one wasn't official, because it wasn't an
No,
official
there was
meeting?
something, I'm
The
sorry.
proper wording, the only thing we had at the first vote was question 1 and question 2. There was no dates indicated on anything, there was no detail to any of it. So
Right,
this
so-
is the proper procedure you need to follow for the resolutions to adopt them, and then you start on the road to referendum.
Okay.
So tomorrow, we're having a conversation with the lady from Quarles and Brady to help Mitch and I continue down that road toward what we need to do.
So we don't have to just approve this final summarizing document that includes all the dates? The third link there you got,
Yes,
Yes, to be
that
held
too,
on. Yeah,
that
you'll approve
too
that
is-
one as well.
that is part of it. The
Okay.
page 7, 8, excuse me,
Eight,
page,
nine.
so we have to re-vote on each individual
Page 9.
resolution and then the combination announcement, official announcement with the dates and everything on it. That's number 3 there.
Yes.
right, correct.
Yeah. So in this resolution, it talks about what you're doing with your money. I think in your first one, question would be 11.92 million to add and remodel the elementary school. This spells out exactly what you're doing, so it breaks down all those subcategories in FEH's proposal. This is what you're going to do with that 11.92.
And specific about election officials, there's a lot.
Chapter 6
I
and
totally
7,
agree with that
yeah,
document there.
all
Okay,
the-
just want to remember it.
The two before, I thought they were similar to the ones.
There's four.
I put them in twice, so you can disregard page 6 and 7.
Yeah.
So we're just doing one vote right now then?
One
We are
vote for the
doing one vote for the-
11.92.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, I got it just for clarification. For the official record of the board vote, will that be the last vote we took, or will it be this one? As to who supported the referendum at the end from the board?
Well, if you don't support it, you probably want to vote no on all of them.
Right. I guess I wouldn't counsel you to change your vote in any way, shape, or form. This is just the official language. I mean,
Official legal language.
Yeah.
Let's
What
say-
we should have
Let's
had.
say legal
We
language.
should have had.
this should have been
Okay.
at the first time you voted
Yeah,
on this.
this makes it legal, so we can move forward.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I would say vote your conscience as you cast your ballots here again tonight.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Anything else? Did you want to call a question, please?
Motion was by Dunn, so Dunn,
Yes.
And do the second, if that makes any difference.
Gunlaw,
No?
Lindsay,
Aye.
Stefas,
No.
Bush,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Basting.
No. Okay, second, resolution authorizing the school district to budget not to exceed the limit by $350,000 for reoccurring purposes.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, Doc, anybody want to second?
Second.
Thank you, Amy. Any further discussion?
I have one more question, Jim. What's the difference between now question 2 here on the agenda and question 4? Mitch?
That's just the extension. We didn't have enough room. That's the end of 3.
Oh, I see. Well, it's got the 11.9 and
Yeah, and that, the language all talks about that, that's for the November
Ballot.
election, because that was not mentioned. It was assumed it was the November election, but that was not spelled out anywhere legally. So you have
So
to,
those numbers are combined on number 3.
On the ballot.
on the ballot.
It's the announcement.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
So the
There's,
exhibit,
there's an example
Your
of the
question is
ballot.
already 2 separate votes though, right?
Yes.
And they are.
They
They're
are. I
separate
just want to be
votes.
consistent with my yes and no.
Right. I think the third, right.
Yeah.
The third one's basically a summary announcement that goes on the ballot.
Yes,
Of the
that
resolution.
says you were,
Split.
Okay,
Oh.
but,
yeah,
yeah.
right, so
What is
if
it?
if someone,
Will be
if a
separate.
board member votes for, against resolution 1, votes for resolution 2, what is voting for
All
resolution
yours is
3?
on there, I don't know what yours is, but 18 and 19, it has the 2 questions.
No, I understand that, but I was,
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Let's
be,
be clear. You got a good point there, because
Yeah, because I'm
3 has both of them.
2, I will be voting for, because I did last time.
and I
Me
believe,
too.
I believe the technicality really to think about is the third
Taking
piece
it
says
to
we
November.
are taking it to the November election. Not, you not necessarily are supporting the 11.9
okay.
or
So,
the
yeah,
350. It's, this is for the November
Yep.
election.
Okay, I just
Thank
didn't want to, I didn't want to,
Sure.
I want to be clear and transparent on,
Right.
Okay. So let's call the question on number 2.
Dunn,
Yes.
Gumma,
yes.
Lindsay,
I,
Stefas,
No.
Bush,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Basting.
Yes. Okay, resolution number 3, providing for a referendum election on the question of the approval of an initial resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation fund in the amount not to exceed $11,920,000 and a resolution authorizing the school district budget to exceed revenue limit by $350,000 for recurring purposes. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the resolution, providing this referendum election on the questions in the resolution.
Anyone second that?
I'll second.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, let's call a question on that, please.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Stefas,
Yes. No, rather, I'm sorry.
Bush,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Gumma,
Yes.
Basting. Dunn, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yes.
No. Okay, motion carried. Okay, guess we need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go in,
Can we state why we're going into closed session before we?
Wisconsin statute 1985.
Good question.
I would
I think-
certainly say that you're going to discuss some contract language and a statement to be issued by the school board. I think that's valid reasons to be going to closed session.
Motion to go into closed session, discussing contract language and, say again, Rich.
I would say preparing a final statement.
Preparing a final statement on investigation.
Second.
I'm sorry, did you say second?
Second.
Thank you, Doc. Okay, all those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
Is Ann still here? She will.
Yep. She,
Second again. motion to go into open session was by Kelly and Nate seconded. It was unanimous. Let's see, so we're going to have a motion.
I make a motion, I'll leave it.
Yes. In regards to the public statement.
I make a motion that we have a vote to approve the public statement of the Minot Point School District Board of Education in regard to the investigation, independent investigation.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Dr. Dunn. So Kelly and Dr. Dunn. Is there any discussion? You want to read it?
Yep. The Minot Point School District Board of Education is aware of an incident that occurred in the girls' locker room in May 2018 when a student used the camera on her smartphone to take a photograph of another student in violation of district policies. The incident was reported to the district staff and the police liaison officer. The district staff commenced an investigation and imposed consequences on the student found to have violated district policies. The district is always looking for opportunities to improve its internal policy and procedures. To that end, the district engaged the services of a third party to review the district's response to this incident. Ultimately, the third party identified areas where the district staff could improve when responding to such complaints and investigations. The district intends to take additional steps to assist the district staff with their responsibilities in addressing similar complaints and investigations in the future, including further education and policy updates. The district recognizes its responsibility to maintain the confidentiality of students' records and personally identifiable information. As a result, the district, its board and staff will not be commenting further about the details of this incident. As soon as possible, a copy of the third party's investigative report will be made available to the public in accordance with the public records law. That means the report will be redacted.
Okay, any other comments? Angie, would you call a question?
And I'll just give you a copy.
I can.
And we want Jeff's name.
Add board president along to sign
Okay.
So,
before we close it.
so
Just wanted to put that down there. So.
add board president. Gudlin,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Stefas,
Yes.
Bush,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Dunn,
Yes.
Basting.
Yes. Motion carried. Okay, we're going to need a motion to adjourn from this meeting, and then I believe Andy's going to have a finance meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.